A recent survey finds Americans' confidence in the U.S. military is at its lowest point in 25 years. According to numbers from Gallup, just 60% of people said they were confident in the U.S. military. That is the lowest finding since 1997. Among Republicans, the numbers are dropping even quicker. Over the past 3 years, their confidence has gone from 91% to only 68%. And here to take a deeper look at those numbers and what's driving it is retired Lieutenant General Thomas Spoehr, director of the Center for National Defense at the Heritage Foundation. Sir, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it. I want to start out by asking your reaction to these latest numbers from Gallup. Are you surprised, and what do you think is behind it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I am not surprised. I think there was a hearing yesterday about Afghanistan, and we heard some terrible stories from the relatives of the 13 service members that were killed there right near the end. That, combined with the ongoing culture wars that are going on in the military, the stories that you hear of suicides, sexual assault, all these things combined, I think, are combining to drag down the public confidence in the U.S. military. And it's a sad situation, no doubt.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's also striking that the past 3 years have seen really such a sharp decline among Republicans, down about 23%, that is, in 3 years. Why do you think there's been such a change of heart for the GOP?
Yeah, I mean, that is the most surprising part, because the Republicans have traditionally held the military in a higher esteem than the Democrats and other parties in the United States. And so that's the part that's bringing this down the quickest. I think for Republicans, they're seeing what's happening with politicization in the military. They're seeing some of the weakening of standards. They're seeing the diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts that are being foisted upon the military by this administration, and that's turning them off. And so I think that's why that particular demographic of that group has really lost a lot of its confidence in the last couple of years in the U.S. military.
Yeah, and a Defense Department spokesman said the military popularity ebbs and flows over time. Do you think that's how military officials see it? And do you think there's anything that can be done to change public opinion and make it more favorable to the military?
Yeah, I mean, it ebbs and flows, but what that spokesman didn't say is that it has ebbed for the last 20 years. So it has been on a straight downhill cycle, which has really accelerated in the last 2 years, that it has gone down 10 points from 70 to 60%, where you mentioned it is now. And so that should be grounds for concern for all Americans. Yes, the military can do things about this. So they can assure the military, the American people, that they are indeed capable and competent, free of political influence, and that they're maintaining the highest possible standards in their enlistments and what it takes to stay on active duty. When the American people hear stories about standards being compromised and that type of thing, I think that erodes their confidence in their military.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, what's the danger here in having, low public confidence in our military, especially as recruiting numbers are down across the board in all branches of the military?
Well, that's the big one. I mean, so the military does not expect to make their recruiting numbers this year. The Army is projecting to be thousands short, as are the Air Force and the Navy. And so this loss of public confidence, if you will, is translating to a real readiness problem in the United States military, where the military services will not make their numbers. And that translates into understrength Army formations. It translates to U.S. Navy ships that don't have the right number of sailors, and Air Force squadrons that are short airmen. And so this all has a very direct impact on U.S. national security that should trouble us all.
Yeah, and what do you think can and should be done about this to kind of turn this around?
Yeah, I think, our national leaders in the Pentagon, in the White House, need to speak to this problem. They need to do everything they can to bolster American confidence in the military. I think when no one showed any accountability for that fiasco in Afghanistan, that did not help matters. I mean, Americans want accountability from their leaders, and nobody even lost their job is an account of that withdrawal from Afghanistan. So I think people look to those kinds of things and form their own judgments, and we need to be cognizant of that.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much, sir, for your time today. We appreciate it, and thank you for your service.